Hi there, and welcome back to the third episode in Adobe Creative Club. So, in the last two episodes, we looked at starting to create your brand. And if you remember, I worked on creating the Gwalia Green Games brand, where we started off creating a logo, working from some ideas there. And in the last session, our second session, we looked at how to create different versions of that logo for different purposes, including a profile picture. So in today's session, what we're doing is we're moving ahead and we're going to use the branding that we've created to create our first social media post advertising our outdoor activity center. Right then, so as you can see here, I've already logged in. Here's Adobe Express. I'm on the home page here. So to get to my previous projects, I just need to come down to the bottom of the screen and you'll see recents there. So I'm just going to click on that and it's going to open it up. So let's take this full screen and let's press on with creating our social media post. Now, if you remember, I've actually created all these different versions of the logo inside the same project. And I really like that about the new Adobe Express, that you can keep things that are all to do with the same brand kind of under the same project, if you like. Now, maybe some people wouldn't want to do that, but I think it's a great idea because I don't know about you, but my files can become a bit of a mess and it's difficult to find things. So here in Adobe Express, if I come up to the top right hand side here, you can see I've got 5 pages in this project. So if I click on that, it'll actually take me to this overview and I can see all my different Gwalia Green Games stuff all in the same place. So I'm going to actually add in my social media advert right here in the project with all the other stuff. Okay, and it means that I can copy and paste things across easier. If I want to get hold of a font, I know where it is. So it just makes everything easier if I keep everything within the same project. Okay then, so I'm going to create a quick Instagram story post that I can post up that just shows the different kinds of activities that people can do if they visit us in our outdoor activity center. Mine, of course, is called Gwalia Green Games. Yours could be something totally different. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to choose which one of my logo versions I want to use as a kind of starting point. So I think I'm going to go for the white text on black background for this one because I reckon I'm going to have a lot of green maybe in my images. So the green logo might get lost a bit amongst all the other green colored images. So what I'm going to do is I am going to choose this page. So I'm just going to click on it, double click on it, sorry. That'll open it up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that as a starting point, but I want it in a different size. So up on the top left, I'm going to click on the resize button. Okay, when you click on that, you'll then get this panel on the left-hand side. Now, you can see you've got recommended sizes, but here under social media, you can see you've got all the popular social media sizes. So I'm going to go for an Instagram story ad, which is down here, but you can see you can scroll down and there's even more options. So you decide what you're going to create. Now, we're not going to have anything moving in this session today. That's going to come in another session before long. So this is going to be kind of a still image, like a poster, if you want. So I'm going to go for, as I said, an Instagram story ad. Okay, up a days. So I'm going to tick that box. And then down the bottom, you've got 2 options. Do you want to resize this current page? Or do you want to duplicate and resize? Well, I'd like to keep this current page as it is. So I'm going to duplicate and resize. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to give me a new page. There we are. I've now got 6 pages in my project. And you can see that it's made a copy of this page. I've got the logo in the middle there, but it's resized it to an Instagram story ad size. Okay, so if you want to change the order of your project, you can just drag these around. So I could pop that at the end perhaps. And now if I want to work on it, I'm just going to double click and it's going to open up that project. And I'm going to change it from logo black and white to Instagram ad 1. Insta ad 1. Okay, cool. Right then, so let's see how easy it is to build up a quick advert advertising the different kinds of activities that you can do in your outdoor activity center. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about my background. Okay, so I'm thinking I want some kind of muddy grass. I want to know that this is kind of outdoors, but it's also a bit muddy and messy. So let's jump straight into our media on the left-hand side. Okay, and then I'm looking for a photo, and I'm going to search for something like muddy grass. Muddy grass. See what we get. So I'm going to scroll down. That's an option. I quite like that one. Does anything else grab me straight away? That's cool. I do quite like that. What gives me that kind of outdoor muddy vibe? Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, I'm going to go for this one, I think. It's really kind of abstract. Not really sure what it is, to be honest, but it's going to work. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to add it in. And really simply, I'm going to click on this image and I'm going to set it as the page background. And there it is. Okay, that's my page background. So you can see already, if I'd added that in with my green logo, the logo really wouldn't be standing off at all, would it? So the black and white logo is really going to work better for this project. Okay, so to highlight the different activities that people can do in our outdoor activity center, I'm going to go and search for kind of squiggles or splats which echo this texture that I've got in the back of my logo. And I'm going to use it for different kind of zones around the design. So let's jump into the elements and let's go into icons, and I'm going to look for splat or splatter, see what we get. Okay, here we go. So my results have loaded, and I want to try and avoid these kind of really obvious paint splatter kind of designs. I want something that looks a little bit messier, you know, something along these lines, but maybe a little bit more circular. That's cool. I like that one. So I'm going to add that in just by clicking on it. And there it is there in the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep looking straight away for another 2 or 3 of those. So just go back to, the elements on the left-hand side, into the icons, back into splatter. Okay, and what else works? That one works quite well. I like that. So let's add that in. And maybe I'll add a few of these. Actually, these work well. So you can see they're actually adding them there in the center of my logo. I'm going to get rid of this first one, because I think these are more the kind of thing that I want. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place these splatters around my design, like this. If it overlaps the logo a bit, I think that's okay. So you can see at the moment, they've automatically come in with the black and white color scheme. That works okay for me at the moment. I think I'll probably end up changing it. Right, let's bring this over here. There we go. So we've got a lot of overlapping shapes here. So you may find that you're accidentally moving things that you don't want to. If you do find that and that it's annoying, you remember that you can lock shapes in place. Well, you lock anything in place just by clicking on the little padlock up here. Okay, and that's going to lock it in place. All right, okay. That's working quite well for me at the moment there. So let's think now about colors. So I just want to make sure that it doesn't hide the logo too much. So I'm just going to rotate it around a little bit. There we go. Something like that. Okay, I think the splats are good. This one could do it being a bit bigger. Yeah. Now, if it is taking over too much, you can obviously just bring your logo right to the top. Okay, I've just dragged my logo there right to the top of the stack. And now, nothing's in front of the logo. So maybe I'll do that for now. And I can always bring in a little bit of a texture at the end. You'll remember that I did that when I created the logo in the first place. Okay, so I've got my zones. So let's think about colors. I mean, do we want to go for more browns and greens here? Or do we want to stick to black and white and grey to match the logo? Well, let's just see how it looks. So let's mix a color. Come up here, go, for a kind of halfway between a green and an orange there. And then let's just see what it gives me. Yeah, I think if I bring that down and make it quite dark, that works quite well. It doesn't take quite as much attention away from the logo. So this one, let's go a little bit browner again, perhaps, on this one. So let's get into the orange there. And then, yeah, that's cool. Okay. And then down the bottom here, do the same. Maybe I'll go for a bit more of a kind of forest green on this one. Around there. And yeah. And what about a bit of a kind of an autumn leaves orange on this last splat? Custom. I'm going to go in there. Good. And then let's get in there to the orange. Yeah, I think I did like it in white and black, but I think those colors work better. Yeah, that's looking fab. I really like that. Okay, so now let's start adding in the different activities that people can do at our outdoor activity center. So I'm going to go back to the media. Okay, and I'm going to search photos, and the first thing I'm going to look for is mountain biking. So mountain biking. Oops, biking. All right, so let's have a look. Let's see what I got. That's a good one. I like that. I like this. I want to see the mountain bike quite obviously in the maybe something like that. Yeah, I quite like that. Although that's really cool as well. I think I've got to go for that. The lighting in that one is awesome. Right, so let's put that in. Now then, I want this image to kind of fit in to that splat. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it to a circle. That's pretty straightforward. I'm sure you've done something like this before. So I'm going to click on crop, and then I'm going to choose a circle. And there we go. It's cropped it in there. And that's fine. I'm just going to frame it up a bit better. Click away. Okay, so you can see we're kind of getting closer to the shape of the splat. Okay, but what can we do to make it even closer to the shape of the splat? Well, in the new Adobe Express, we can actually, about remove background, but we can actually erase in a more creative way than we could in the previous version. Okay, let's take a look what I mean by that. So I want to use the circle brush to erase bits of this. Okay, and I can choose the size of my brush, how hard it is, and how much it takes away. Okay, so if this is all the way up, it means that my brush is gonna totally delete whatever I'm brushing over. Okay, let's try it, and let's just basically start brushing all the way around the circle. So first thing I do is just make the edges of this circle a bit untidier. There we go. Okay, so that's already looking cool. Now, I'm gonna drop the hardness of the brush down, and I'm gonna start kind of nibbling away at the edges just a bit, like this, okay, so that we start losing the actual circular shape of this crop. Okay, and I'm trying to find the edges of the splat. There we go. And there was some kind of gap up the top here as well, which I'd like to reveal. There we go. You see, I'm just painting away the edges of the image. And that, for me, looks really cool. So I'm going to click done on that. And there we go. That's my image there. Customized to fit in with the shape of the splat. Now you could also look at, your blend modes. Okay, that's the multiply, which will darken your image, or screen, which will lighten your image. I think screen works really well on that one. Yeah, what a really cool effect that is. Okay, what's my next activity? Well, they can go caving or potholing. So I'm just gonna type cave. Oops, I'm not gonna type anything if I don't click in it. Cave exploration. Let's see what we get. Okay, I don't know about that. I think that's a health and safety issue. Taking a torch into the cave. I think this one here is going to be great. So let's do the same. Let's click on it. Bring it in. Okay, where's it going to go? Well, it's going to go, I think, in this one. So it's roughly in its place. Cool. And I'm going to crop it to a circle. Frame it up. Perfect. Reposition. Okay, now, maybe you're thinking, hang on, it's a bit difficult for me to actually tell which bits I need to delete. So what you could do is add your blend mode on sooner. Okay, like that. And you may find that you don't actually need to nibble away at anything at all, because that looks absolutely brilliant as it is, to be honest, doesn't it? But I do like this kind of effect here where I can kind of see a bit of the splat peeking underneath the edges. So I am going to still use the erase on that. Okay. And I'm going to drop the hardness of the brush down again and just do the same again, really. I'm just going to, there we go. I'm just going to paint away that. See this? There's a bit of a hard circular edge there I don't like. Is there somebody else? Is there somewhere else? Yeah, around here. So let's just soften these edges up. There we are. But that image, just nibble away around here a little bit. But this one worked really well with the screen blending mode, didn't it? Okay, click done on that. There it is. Very cool. Okay, what else can we do here? Well, I think we can do a bit of abseiling. I've done it again. Abseiling. Okay. Let's look for something dramatic, outdoorsy. I think. Yeah, that's a bit too urban, isn't it? I mean, that guy's not wearing a helmet, so that's not very safe. I think I'm going to have to go for this one. Yeah, I think so. Not quite what I had in mind when I thought about abseiling, but it definitely looks like the kind of vibe that we want to go for this Gwalia Green Games Centre. Okay, so you know the drill. You know exactly what I'm doing now. I'm going to crop to a circle. frame up my crop like that, click away. I'm roughly going to put it in its place. Use my screen blend mode. Let's try multiply. Right, so I think we're losing too much there with the screen blend mode. So I'm going to go back to normal. Maybe bring the opacity down a little instead, which means we've now got more work to do with our erase brush. Okay, so I'm clicking on the erase brush, and I've got a lot of nibbling to do here. Okay, I really want to break up the edge. So the first thing I always do, as you can see, is I'll just go around the edge of the circle first of all. Okay, that's my first job, because straight away that is better. Okay, just because I'm not very good at drawing a circle with a mouse. And now I'm just gonna start eating away, and I want to see more of that green shape behind. There we go. Okay, and also think about what pieces of the photo you don't mind losing. I don't mind losing these bits up above this person's head. What parts of the photo are actually important to us? It's really the kind of person, that rope. Okay, so I can definitely chop away at the edges around here. And make sure you zoom out as well. Great. If you want, you can drop the opacity of your brush, and that then will half delete bits. Okay, see there? It's just softening it rather than totally deleting it. That's a cool effect as well. You'll find that you'll be able to blend the edges more interestingly by doing that. Okay, that's worked really well. And click done on that. Okay, and then what's my final thing? Well, we can also go hiking. I'm actually typing. For the first time this afternoon, I'm actually typing there. All right. Let's see. I wouldn't mind seeing some faces. So let's go for that's cool. That's cool. Oh, I like that. I really like that. Yeah. Let's add that in. Okay. So, and that's going to work really well at the bottom as well, isn't it? It's going to work really well at the bottom corner. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of walking up into my Instagram post. Cool. Let's crop it. Crop, circle. So you can see we're just duplicating the same skills. We're repeating the same skills. Okay, that's it. Take your time when you're cropping, because it does really make a difference, doesn't it? Okay, put that about there. And let's see what happens when I put the screen blend mode on. Ooh, not great. Don't like that. Multiply. No, it's no good either. Okay, so I'm just going to have to go for normal again. Drop the opacity. Okay, and then if you drop the opacity more, you can actually see the splat we're trying to show. And then I could just bring the opacity back in later on if I want. Okay, so that's something you could try. So yeah, I'll leave the opacity about there for now, and then I'll bring it back up when I've finished nibbling away with my erase brush. Okay, so I'm going to click on the erase brush. So I think the opacity of my brush, yeah, is going to be down a bit. So I'm going to bring that back up. Okay, and as you know, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to very roughly come around the edge of the circle. Okay, and that's just going to immediately improve that crop. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm doing is I'm I'm still in there, and I'm just trying to get rid of anything that's really unnecessary. Okay, what I'm going to do now is click done on that, bring the opacity of this image back up, and see what I need to do to improve it. Okay, I could still do with getting rid of some of this blue here, couldn't I? Okay, so let's do that. Let's go back into the arrays. Okay, let's just, zoom in. Remember, you can use Control and your mouse wheel. And I'm going to bring the opacity of my remove brush down and the hardness. Okay. And now what you can do is you can be far more subtle when you bring in things out of the image. Okay. You can see there, take kind of multiple clicks for me to get rid of these bits of blue around here. Now, that blue color, the blue sky there, is still kind of taking over. Okay, so what we can do there is, let's actually have a look at the adjustments we can make to the image itself. So let's click on adjustments here. Okay, so maybe I just need to add warmth. Okay, if I bring up the warmth, it's gonna, see, so if you bring the warmth slider down, it basically makes the image colder, and making it colder obviously makes things look a bit more blue. So at 0, so if I reset the warmth to 0, this sky blue is still showing through. And that's what I kind of want to disappear. So rather than try and delete it, like I was doing just now with the remove brush, what I can do instead is actually warm up the image, which is actually going to tone down any blues. If I go too far, it kind of turns everything orange. Okay, but if I just kind of back that off a bit, like that, maybe bring the saturation down as well. Okay, the saturation is how strong the colors are, you see? So if the saturation is right up, colors are really strong. So if I bring it all the way down, then it's black and white, which I don't want. But if I bring the color back in a little, it means that, let's have a look. Yeah, that works really nicely. And I think I can, as a final step now, I can bring the opacity down a little bit more on this to reveal that splat behind, like so. Cool. Right, so there we are. I've got all my elements in there. So as you can see, we've really had some fun today looking at bringing in just simple shapes, changing the color of the shapes. But then the main thing we've learned today is what we can do to get images to blend in, and things we can do to really customize these images that we've brought in. Okay, now, sometimes, like with this image, just using just using a blend mode. So with this image, that's all I did was change blend mode to screen, and it was pretty much done. Okay, this one, I customized this totally. You can see there with cutout. That's cool. And then these two down the bottom, I had to work much harder with these, didn't I? Okay, especially this final one to tone down that sky blue. But there's my Instagram ad, my first Instagram ad, which is just still, okay? But we're going to be looking at animating and incorporating videos and graphic effects in these over the sessions to come. So if you wanted to download that and share it on Instagram, simplest thing to do would be to just click download, select download, and there it is. Okay, my downloaded image is in my downloads folder. There it is, it's popped up, ready to use, ready to post to social media. I'm sure you'd agree That looks really cool. I'm really happy with that. It looks as if I've taken hours to do it, and really, we've just done it in one quick session today. Okay, right then, folks. I hope you've enjoyed that. I've really had fun playing around with these effects and these new techniques that we've got in the new Adobe Express today. I'll see you on the next session. We'll be back next week with another session. I think Dom might be back next week, which I'm sure you're all looking forward to seeing what Dom's getting up to with his designs. Okay, have fun, mess around. Remember, the undo button is our friend. If you try something and it doesn't work, you could just undo it. Okay, and I'll see you on a session again in the future. Hwyl fawr, diolch am wylio, ta-ra.